Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Charlie Usen back to produce another side of the glass. Thanks again to Jack Pembroke for producing yesterday for Charlie. Brewers lose today 6-4. The series tied up at 1 apiece. Game 2 of this doubleheader, 3 in the series, comes up tonight just after 7 o'clock. Good news for you, more of the hunk of love, Tommy Wirtz, behind the microphone with his golden tones, going right there into your car radio, your smart speaker, coming out of your phone. Wherever you may be, Charlie, you can hear Tommy Wirtz tonight 6-7 with the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I'm just putting replays of the leadoff show on when I'm going to sleep, hear those sultry tones, man. It's wonderful.
You know what I've been doing a lot of lately?
What's that?
I have been watching Tommy on YouTube while he's doing the leadoff show.
I can't do that. I get distracted by just how good he looks.
See? And these loving two are together this weekend. Together. 9-11 Wisconsin Sports Weekend. This weekend, Saturday, 9-11. It is amazing. Charlie's girlfriend's a little concerned right now, I'm sure, hearing that. But either way, it'll be fine. Don't you worry. It'll all work out. So let's talk about this Brewers loss to the Chicago Cubs. It was not a great start today for Chad Patrick, all the way to the first pitch that he threw to the backstop. You knew right away, the first two hitters absolutely smoked the ball off of Chad Patrick, and you knew it was going to be probably a not a great day for Chad Patrick. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of those earned, a couple of walks, 4 strikeouts, and 1 home run given up by Chad Patrick. 1 error in the game, that was by Andrew Vaughn on a throwing error. So not a great day for Chad Patrick. With the loss, he falls to 3-8. Now, those 5 runs were on the board quickly, I guess you could say, for the Chicago Cubs, because there was 2 in the first, 3 in the third. Then we get to the 4th inning, down 5-0. The Brewers offense said, well, we're not going away yet.
And Yelich sends it high and deep to right. This one is way back there off the scoreboard. Christian Yelich with a tape measure shot down the right field line. And right away, the Brewers get one of them back. Number 26 for Yelich.
Nice shot there by Christian Yelich. He had another opportunity later in the game with runners on, and unfortunately grounded out, and they couldn't capitalize on that one. So then you go ahead, and then Sal Frelick comes up in the 5th inning with an opportunity to score some runs.
And Frelick rifles one into the gap right center. Crow Armstrong cuts it off. It's going to hold Frelick to a single, but it's an RBI single at that. And the Brewers are within 3. Here they come.
Here they come. But the problem is they had so many opportunities to get guys in throughout this game. Early in the game, they had the bases loaded and Ortiz up. Then you get later multiple guys on for Yelich, and he grounds out. Later, Contreras, obviously there at the end, he grounds into a double play. They just had problems getting guys in for the most part today. Runners in scoring position. The Brewers were 3 for 10 today. Frelick was 2 for 2. Terang 1 for 2. Outside of that, nobody else came through. Yelich 0 for 1. Contreras 0 for 1. Ortiz 0 for 2. Collins 0 for 1. Durbin 0 for 1. That really is the story of the game. This team leads all of baseball with runners in scoring position and batting average. And when you go 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position, that normally leads to problems.
But also when you've been that hot, I think it's pretty expected that you're going to have 1 to 2 games where you aren't going to drive in every runner that's on base, where it is going to be a little bit of a struggle to get those extra base hits sometimes. Today, it didn't really seem like the ball was flying all that much. You got Yelich getting that home run and Casey getting the home run. Other than that, you saw a lot of balls dive at the warning track or go foul, move foul a little bit. I think this is more just kind of a bad day for the Brewers. I wouldn't really take too much into that.
See, that's the thing, though. I mean, offensively, you could say, okay, it was a bad day, but they were putting runners on. It wasn't like Matthew Matthew Boyd was like dealing a gem against the Brewers. Brewers were making contact. They were getting themselves on base. But again, they just weren't able to get that big base hit. Sal Frelick here in the 6th inning. Now, this one was heartbreaking because he hit one down, the left field line. And on TV, both guys come around to score. I was like, yeah, and I'm screaming and yelling in a commercial break that, all right, it's tied 5-5. And the next thing I know, Frelick's back up to bat again. I'm like, what happened? Charlie's like, it was foul. I was like, come on, man. So then, shortly after that, Frelick does this.
Keller deals. Frelick turns on it. A base hit into right. Turang on his way. Throw comes all the way in, and everybody's going to advance. Turang scores the run. And it's 2nd and 3rd for the Brewers. They are within a run. Backwards Frelick jersey works.
So there you go. Sal Frelick with a big hit there. Frelick has just been so good. He really has. He's just been so good. Then our guy here, Mr. Perkins, who, again, today, Blake Perkins on the day, came in later for Lockridge, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Charlie, you and I were talking about Isaac Collins, right? And I said, man, I really hope Isaac Collins, I'm going into a funk here coming off of that short break to have his kid. And Blake Perkins, same type of deal, coming off of, the bereavement list, having those couple of days off, stopping that momentum a little bit, going away from baseball and now trying to come back. It doesn't seem like a big thing. Dude, Sparky, it's 2 freaking days. He wasn't gone for 2 weeks. It's 2 days. He's fine. But that interruption of momentum sometimes can really throw a guy off a little bit. Oh, hold on. I got to turn you on. Go ahead.
It can, but at the same time, like I keep saying with this Brewers team, everybody picks each other up. Yeah, you lose this game, but you know what? You still got pretty close. You were still fighting all the way till the end of this game because Sal Frelick had a good game, because Bryce Turang was hitting the ball hard, because you have all these different players that are coming out and helping you out a little bit. Yes, Collins and Perkins may have had a little bit of a rough game, but you know what? They can very easily come back in the second game and pick up where maybe Bryce Turang lags off here, or if Joey Ortiz still continues to not be able to drive in these runners, maybe one of those guys can step up again. That's how I feel with this Brewers team at all times. You don't feel that way with the Cubs. You don't feel that way with a lot of these other top teams in the league. The Brewers just always seem to have a fighting chance no matter who's up to bat.
Charlie using over there, see Sparky over here. Brewers lose 6-4. Want to get your thoughts on today's game. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. And, of course, don't forget YouTube, baby. Search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You can live stream all of our local shows. Check out the videos, the shorts, all that stuff. Plus, Charlie, there's a YouTube chat that you can get in on as well. And Jeff is up on our YouTube chat talking about the Brewers.
So Jeff over on YouTube says Sparky and Charlie you guys are having a great show. If it was up to me, I think I'd keep Tobias Myers in this lineup versus a Chad Patrick at this point.
Yeah. This was a one-day thing. Chad Patrick goes back down to Nashville, and that'll be the end of Chad Patrick. I'm guessing you won't see much of Chad Patrick now the rest of the year. This didn't really help keep in it. Tobias Myers pitched well when he came in there. Can't say the same thing about Shelby Miller giving up that home run. But for the most part, I think they feel more comfortable with Tobias Myers working out of the bullpen than they do maybe Logan Henderson. Then maybe they do Chad Patrick. Now, Henderson's hurt. He's probably gone for the year now with the latest update. But those guys that have a majority of starting experience and don't have a lot of bullpen experience, there is something different about coming out of a bullpen and warming up in, say, the 5th or 6th inning than there is warming up in the bullpen and starting a baseball game.
Very much so. It's a huge difference. And I think that Tobias Myers, a guy at least has that starting experience where it kind of helps you out a little bit. There's some guys that throughout this season may get thrown into that type of position or maybe taken out of a starting rotation and put into the bullpen, like a guy like Jacob Mizorowski might happen at some point this season. I think these are all things that you have to worry about a little bit, but it's nice that they've gotten some other kind of experience at those spots in different levels of the game so far this season. I think that helps them out a little bit. Not a lot of other teams are doing that. The Brewers, again, this pitching lab figures out how to keep everybody comfortable the most, unless, of course, we're talking about Shelby Miller.
Then, of course, that changes a little bit. Y'all don't have to be nervous about Shelby Miller. I'll be nervous for you. One inning gave up the long ball home run. Did have 3 strikeouts in that inning. Tobias Myers, as we talked about, a couple of innings, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts for Tobias Myers. Defensive play of the game, that was easy.
Be a candidate to finish this game. First ball swinging, Matt Shaw Fly ball deep left center, and it is going to be caught. Blake Perkins caught it. Crashing up against the wall, and his teammate Collins. Perkins still comes out of the ivy with it.
That was amazing. They both jumped into the ivy, and Perkins came out with it, and then they kind of had a little interaction after that and came back. That is not an easy catch. For those of you that don't know, it's not a soft, squishy wall that they're jumping into with that ivy. That is brick. He's jumping into a brick wall with ivy over the top of it. And to go into that fearless and make that play while another player is jumping at you is a big-time play there, I think, for Blake Perkins. So the Brewers lose this one 6-4. Coming up tonight, Game 2, as we mentioned, Tommy with the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, comes up at 6 o'clock. Jamison Taillon on the hill coming off of the injured list for the Cubs, going up against Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers. As we discussed at the very beginning of the show today, advantage pitching-wise was definitely this first game for the Cubs, right? Matthew Boyd was going to have the advantage over Chad Patrick. Boyd gave up more runs than Patrick, but this was a game where you looked at it and go, okay, maybe they lose this one. This second game here, Woodruff versus Taillon, I think you go in as a Brewers fan going, okay, this is the game that the Brewers should win. You split today. You take 2 out of 3. You're back to 9 games up in the division, and now you're looking ahead with 2 games to go. Worst case scenario at that point, you're up 7 when this series is over if you lose the next 2 games. And when I said 7, Charlie's eyes got big, like, damn, it's still going to be 7. But that's what we're talking about. Win tonight. Worst case, you're 7 up, leaving Wrigley on Thursday, and I think any Brewers fan would take that.
Oh, easily. I think right now the Brewers are in one of the best positions in their individual divisions out of any team in baseball, man. This is by far kind of running away with it. And like I said before, I was with my girlfriend's parents, and they're all big Cubs fans down there in Illinois, her family, that is, and they didn't seem very positive about the rest of this season. No matter what happens in this series, they were talking about how they just could not catch up to the Brewers and that they're going to have to start thinking about the wild card more often now. And I think that's how most people feel around the country right now in this division. I think that's a pretty good sign for this Milwaukee Brewers team.
All right, let's look at some of what we have coming in here. And it's interesting when you see some of these tweets. David S. tweets at the Fan Milwaukee, Collins really looked lost at the plate, but it's fine. Go win tonight with Woody. This is the thing, folks. If we're going to be honest, I think Collins, if he regresses, meaning he's not a 300 hitter, and let's say he's hitting 240 or 250 in the month of September, that changes this lineup. Because for the most part, he's been like their best hitter as far as contact hitter and doing his thing for the last month, 2 months of the season. He's been that guy. So if he all of a sudden does not become that guy, now you look at Isaac Collins, you're sliding him back down now to like 7 or 8 in the lineup, and that changes the dynamic of what this lineup looks like. If you missed the injury news from earlier today, Rhys Hoskins is going on a rehab assignment starting tonight. So you're going to get Hoskins back here in the next couple of weeks to go along with Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn and Rhys Hoskins. Let's talk about splits, shall we? Because this is something that should be pointed out. Now, again, the splits factor in the White Sox as well. This isn't Brewers splits for Vaughn, but this is overall this year. Vaughn against righties is hitting .225, 263 on base, not good. 414 slugging. Hoskins against righties, 245, 339 on base, like 70 points higher, and a 426 slugging, also higher than Vaughn. Lefties, Vaughn 288, 356 on base, 450 slugging, and Hoskins 235, 340, 432. I would not be surprised, Charlie, if there is some type of platoon split here between Vaughn and Hoskins if the Brewers are committed to Yelich staying at DH.
Which I think they very much should be committed to Christian Yelich staying at DH. That's where he's been healthiest so far in his career. I know it's only been 2 years of a DH in the National League, but it's kept him on the field, and that's what matters most for this Milwaukee Brewers team. And you also can't take Andrew Vaughn out of this lineup, even for Rhys Hoskins, who's a guy that you believe in, a good veteran for this team. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Vaughn just gets the nod, and Hoskins is a really important pitch hitter for this team, that you're bringing him in certain situations to give Yelich and give Vaughn a break. Maybe not a platoon, but maybe just a really important bench piece, one of the most important bench pieces in the entire MLB.
Now think about this for a second. When you get Hoskins back, right, Your outfield, if you're going to say we're going to play Hoskins and Vaughn, one's going to play DH, one's going to play first. Your outfield then is Yelich, Churio, and Frelick. What happens to Isaac Collins? That means he's out of there, right? Now, if Isaac Collins slows down, like we just said, you can get by if Rhys Hoskins is playing well and Vaughn is playing well. All of a sudden, Isaac Collins, who's in the Rookie of the Year race and leading the Rookie of the Year race in most places, is all of a sudden out of the lineup. If Hoskins comes back and you're going to split platoon them there, then the DH is still Yelich, and now the outfield is Collins, Churio, and Frelick going forward, and maybe you rotate Perkins in from time to time, but I don't see how Blake Perkins gets a lot of run once you get to the postseason. I think he becomes a defensive replacement, a pinch runner, something along those lines, more so than actually starting, because I don't think you can justify starting Perkins over Churio, Frelick, or Collins if all three of those guys are still going.
Probably. This is the type of situation that makes me kind of question. Again, I don't want to keep going back to the trade deadline, but you have all these pieces, like, make moves if you want to build up that farm system a little bit more. Like, now you're having a lot of extra questions that you shouldn't need to be having.
But they're good questions. This is a good problem. This isn't a bad problem. This isn't we have to find somebody. This is we got too many good players, and how are we going to find time to play them all? These are luxury problems to have.
They are, but also they're still problems. You'd be better off if you just didn't have problems. And right now, again, we talked about how they could move these guys for some key pieces maybe in that farm system that aren't going to help you right now, but yeah, it gives you more insurance as you move forward here.
They have the number one farm system in baseball.
You can keep getting better. Why not?
I understand that, but you can keep getting better at the major league level too. Now you protect yourself from injury going forward here with what you have on this Brewers roster. If you lose an outfielder, you have a depth piece there in Blake Perkins and go out there and play. Or you can play Yelich on a given day, and now you've got two power hitters in Hoskins and Vaughn now that you can play between DH and first base if you want. Third base, I do not understand the Anthony Siegler obsession. I've complained about this before. He was not playing in the starting lineup today, but I swear to you, I want to know the inside story on how he's still on this roster at this point. I don't understand it. You can tell me about, well, Monasterio's on the roster. Okay, fine. But Murphy has already said a million times that pretty much as long as Murphy's here, Monasterio's going to be on that team. He's pretty much said it, blatantly just said, he's my guy. He ain't going anywhere. Okay, fine. Siegler, on the other hand, no chance. Like, he hasn't done anything. How long are you going to ride this split with him and Caleb Durbin at this point? I'm at the point now where it's like, Caleb, you're the guy. Go play. I don't need to see Siegler anymore. Lockridge gets over here, and you look at Lockridge's major league numbers, and you're like, oh, this dude can't hit. You look at his minor league numbers, you're like, well, he hit all right in the minors. And then today, right? Hits a double today in this game. You've seen more out of Lockridge and the short time they've had Lockridge since the trade deadline than you've seen in Siegler the entire time he's been up here.
Yeah, it's been pretty nuts. That I think it's because he has position versatility, apparently, but they don't use him in any other positions at all besides third base. So
what does that matter?
Kind of defeats the purpose of keeping a guy like that up here. And again, with like Monasterio, I think he just fits the vibe of the team. And I think that's why Pat Murphy loves him so much, is that when he does get into games, he usually makes some kind of thing happen. Maybe not always good things, but he's out there trying to make something happen. I think Anthony Siegler is a lot of the same way. He kind of feels like the Andrew Monasterio. Yeah, it's not clicking right now, but he goes out there and plays 100 miles per hour no matter what, which is what Pat Murphy loves.
Here is a report from Jesse Rogers of ESPN. Cubs manager Craig Counsell said Owen Casey is how you said Casey, will start game 2 of their doubleheader against the Brewers after homering and driving in 3 in game 1. As forecasted, Tucker will get game 2 off after sitting in game 1. No Kyle Tucker tonight either. I don't know, man. I don't know how long you can go sitting Kyle Tucker and expect to still win ball games. And if I'm Kyle Tucker, you better hope this doesn't turn into a Jackson Churio situation. Churio goes down, the Brewers go 14-1 while he's sitting on the sidelines. And at that point, you could say he was their best player at that point when Churio went down. If Kyle Tucker sits and all of a sudden they start winning baseball games with Kyle Tucker out of the lineup for what Kyle Tucker is making, for what Kyle Tucker is expected to make this offseason, trade deadline's long gone. They can't trade him now. So now you're going to have to roll with them. He gets today off. Let's say he gets tomorrow off. He comes back Thursday afternoon, and still is rolling over on ground balls and not showing any power and still frustrated, they have the guts to sit him going forward?
I mean, it saves you a lot of money if you are the Cubs moving forward.
If you want to re-sign him?
If you want to re-sign him.
Do you want to re-sign him if he's this bad going forward the rest of the year?
Yes, and I talked about this with Tommy before the show well.
Man.
Is that right now I think he said through the past month and a half, so between July and
1st.
August. Yep, since July 1st, he has had still a 699 OPS, which is not great, but that's league average. That's right about league average. If that's at his worst, he's a league average player, then yeah, you want to re-sign that because at his best, he's an MVP caliber
You want to
player.
re-sign him, but not to a $500 million contract.
But that saves you a little bit of money if he's playing league average.
Yeah,
that helps you out a little bit. And if his ceiling is still top of the league, then man, I'm taking that gamble.
All right, Cubs beat the Brewers today 6-4. Taking your calls, your tweets. Nikolay Love Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250. Check us out on YouTube. We got some more comments on YouTube chat. You can get in on the YouTube chat as well. Charlie will read those on the air. You can go that way, search the Fan Milwaukee, or, of course, sound off the recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. What's the latest on the YouTube chat?
So if we head over to YouTube, our guy Mark over there says Collins hurt himself by going on paternity leave. He also adds, I would buy a Durbin jersey.
I would not buy a Durbin jersey. I feel like I should because he's a short guy like me. I feel like I should support fellow short guys. Sal Frelick is another one. If I was going to buy a Brewers jersey right now, it's got to be Churio. Right? You just hop on the bandwagon and ride it. I'm one of those guys, and this is going to sound bad because they're playing so well. He's playing so well. I just don't know how Frelick is here long term. I struggle to see how Frelick stays here long term. If Murphy is here long term, like if Murphy's going to manage another 10 years, is he really going to manage another 10 years? But if he's going to manage another 10 years, then maybe Frelick is here long term. Maybe that works out. But he's only here if this style of play continues to be the Brewers' style of play going forward. But if at some point this Brewers team goes to a more traditional way of playing baseball where power rules the world, then Frelick is going to be out of a spot to play on this baseball team. So if the organization says this is how our identity is going to be going forward, then I think Frelick probably always has a job, and Frelick probably is a leadoff hitter, like I thought when he was coming up, probably for a decade or more, being that leadoff hitter for this Brewers team. But Churio would be my first guy that I would buy jersey-wise. Frelick would probably be my second guy I'd want jersey-wise. And then probably Terang, I guess, would be my third guy.
No Jacob Mizorowski?
No.
Not even just for the little bit that he might be on the team. I mean, he's going to be electric, isn't he?
Can't see myself ever buying a pitcher jersey. Can't see it, no.
That's lame.
Hitters, yes. Pitchers, no. Closers, no.
See, that's what
No.
I would love, just a cool relief pitcher jersey. Like, Abner Uribe is the guy that I've been thinking of getting a jersey for. I love just that type of stuff, man.
I can't. I don't know why. I've never thought of, I'm going to go buy this jersey who's a pitcher. I don't know. I can't get into it. If it's Ohtani, pitcher, hitter, if the Brewers had one of those guys, because I'm not buying an Ohtani jersey, but if the Brewers had something crazy like that, then okay, yeah, I'm in, right? Superstar, greatest of all time, or one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, I'm in. Okay, fine. But they don't. No. I mean, I don't have a Burns jersey, a Woodruff jersey, Peralta jersey, none of those guys. Those guys were all good for the Brewers for a long period of time. I'm not buying a Miz jersey. I'm sure a lot of people will.
And I think a lot of people should. I know you're not going to, but at the same time, he, again, looks like the second coming of Paul Skeens here. And Paul Skeens looked like the second coming of a Randy Johnson and these types of just amazing pitchers that you want to see, that you're going to baseball stadiums to see that specific player. I think some people have to at least honor that, and I think most people will. That's just an opportunity that you can't miss out on while he's in Milwaukee.
It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Coming up next, we'll take more of your calls, more of your tweets as well. We've got some more comments coming in on the YouTube chat we'll get to coming up on the other side. If you want to get on the YouTube chat, again, search The Fan Milwaukee, live streaming all of our local shows, including the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, coming up tonight, 6 to 7 with Tommy Wirtz. Also, got some news to share with y'all. Do you know what is going on this Friday? This Friday, the Brewers are home again after this series is all done, right? They come home for home series this weekend. I'm actually going to the game with the family Saturday night. Want to get the Euchre umbrella. all about the Euchre umbrella. So got to get there early, stand in line early, all that fun stuff. But Friday, this show goes on the road to Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound before the Brewers game on Friday. So I'll be out there starting at 2 o'clock on Friday, and then I'll be going till 5:30 with Wisconsin Sports Daily. Then the leadoff show, Tommy Wirtz will be on location as well at Kelly's Bleachers from 5:30 to 7. So if you're going to the Brewers game on Friday, come hang out with us at Kelly's Bleachers on Friday afternoon. Looking forward to seeing everybody out there. We got shirts, we got bucket hats, we got the things for your phones. What are these, pop sockets or whatever the case may be? We got like these stress balls, like pop-it. What are they called? Like pop-its? Is that what they're called?
I guess. I don't know. I don't play with those.
I don't know.
And
but
you made it
like
zoom
that.
in on your face again.
Yeah.
Doing that.
What did I do?
You did the squeezing motion.
Whatever. So all of that coming up this Friday's coming up. Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. Hang out with Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Hang out with the leadoff show and Tommy Wirtz starting at 2 all the way up until 7 o'clock this Friday. Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. On the other side, we'll take more of your calls and tweets, like I said, about this Brewers loss 6-4. Plus, Rob Manfred's crazy idea. Jeff Passan losing his mind about Rob Manfred's crazy idea. We'll get to that coming up as well. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. 77 degrees. Cloudy skies right now. Doesn't look like any rain in the forecast for tonight. Low of 64.
Be a candidate to finish this game. First ball swinging, Matt Shaw. Fly ball deep left center, and it is going to be caught. Blake Perkins caught it. crashing up against the wall, and his teammate, Collins. Perkins still comes out of the ivy with it.
How about that? Brian Anderson on the call, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin. Perkins with a great catch into the ivy for the Brewers. Unfortunately, comes up on the losing end for the Brewers. They lose 6-4. Game 2 of this series. Game 1 of 2 for the doubleheader. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Game 3 of the series tonight, just after 7 o'clock first pitch down at Wrigley Field. 6 o'clock, leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And as I said before the break, this show and the leadoff show on the road this Friday's Kelly's Bleachers in Blue Mound. On Blue Mound, I should say. Come out, hang out with us from 2 to 5:30. And then it's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound as well from 5:30 to 7. We got bucket hats, T-shirts, pop sockets for your phone, these little stress like poppet balls type thing that they've got going on as well. Come hang out with us. Again, Kelly's Bleachers coming up on this Friday, and looking forward to that. All right, so they lose 6-4. More on the YouTube chat. You can watch us on YouTube, stream us live right there. As we stream there, we have videos, shorts, all that stuff. Search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You can dial up the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Charlie, what's the latest in the YouTube chat?
If we head over there, a guy, Brett, says, as a Cubs fan, I don't want them to pay out for Tucker.
See, and again, that is exactly what I'm talking about. When you start having your own fans of your own fan base who know how good a guy is, and now he goes into a slump at an inopportune time, right? Now all of a sudden the fan base turns on you. They've been booing this cat yesterday and the day before. They've been booing him. You see the Tucker interview after the game. He looks like he's ready to start crying in the locker room or in the clubhouse after the game when people were talking to him. And he's talking about, well, you know, if I roll over it, even if I'm going to be out by 50 feet, I'm supposed to run. Yeah, that's right. That's how it was in youth baseball too, buddy. That's how your dad, if he was a coach, or somebody else's dad is a coach, they tell you to run hard to first base as well. Do you know what the other thing they tell you to do in youth sports that I swear to God, William Contreras has never, ever been taught in his life?
What's that?
Don't look at the ball. Where you're running down first baseline, the ground balls hit the shoulder, and you see the head turn. Whoop. And I'm telling you, you cannot convince me that you're running as fast. As soon as you turn your head, physically, you will slow down somewhat when you go to look to see where that ball is versus if your head is down and you're running through the base. Contreras does it all the time.
I guess so, but also you're telling that to youth players who I think do slow down their whole and turn their whole bodies when they go to look at the ball, and they do lose track of where the base path is. William Contreras is not a youth player anymore, and I think he understands kind of the feeling of running down that baseline,
yes,
and knows where the base is going to be, and I think he can run at a higher speed, maybe not as high of a speed as if he's just head down full on sprinting, but I think he does know how to control his speed better than a youth player does in that situation, and can still run at a pretty high rate, better than maybe what a youth kid can do.
Drives me nuts. And part of the reason is because I've had multiple kids. I'll go through youth sports. So stuff that I watched my kids be taught to watch the big leaguers just simply just not doing. Be like, I'm in the pros. I don't have to do that anymore. It drives me crazy.
I also feel like you see that in almost every other sport, that there's some of these guys, there's a reason they got to the major league level in some way, somehow.
Sure.
That, yeah, maybe they're not doing everything technically sound perfectly, but they found a way to do it, and they do it really well. And you know what? If William Contreras, the main thing is that he turns his head a little bit when he's running and slows him down by a couple seconds, or not seconds, milliseconds, then that I can deal with that, because you know what? He's doing a lot of other things really well, really by the textbook, and that's what matters more.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we didn't hear Rosenthal exactly say. Ken Rosenthal talked about on Foul Territory what he wrote about in The Athletic that I read some of, about how everybody else in baseball should try to play more like the Milwaukee Brewers play to make it a better product on the field, more so than relying on all the analytics and all this other stuff. Here's Rosenthal pretty much saying that the Brewers should be the role model for baseball.
That here is a team that is at least trying to play the game properly at a time when too many organizations place too much emphasis on the next big analytical thing and too little emphasis on sound fundamental play. Now, as I wrote, and I want to be very clear about this because people get excited and upset, I am not bashing analytics. Far from it. Analytics are integral to the game. They've been an important part for years now. They help players get better. They help teams evaluate. They enhance everything about baseball. What I am saying here, what my point is that while organizations seem to obsess over enhancing pitching velocity, hitters' exit velocities, why can't they do the same on the fundamental side? Why can't they emphasize and stress running the bases properly, hitting the cutoff man, all the little things, all the subtleties that make baseball such a wonderful sport? We've talked a lot about the Yankees' flaws in recent weeks, right? We've kind of focused on them. It goes back to Game 5 of last year's World Series. But it's not just the Yankees who often stumble their way through games. We see this with every team in every game every night. It drives a lot of fans crazy, drives a lot of old school baseball people crazy, drives some media crazy. It's not the game that we grew up watching. And I'm not talking about going back 20 years, no analytics. No, just play the game right.
We had a conversation about this yesterday as well. This Brewers baseball team plays, it was Tony in Texas that called in. This Brewers baseball team plays like the 80s Cardinals, kind of sort of, the Whitey Herzog Cardinals back in the day, right? They're not reinventing the game of baseball. They're not doing anything crazy. They're just doing it the way that it's supposed to be done. The way, again, we go back to youth baseball, right? This is the way you'd want your youth baseball team to play. Fundamentally sound baseball, do the right things, take the extra base when you have the opportunity, don't make dumb mistakes on the field, don't chase dumb pitches out of the zone, all of that stuff. Murphy manages like them like he probably would his kid who's like 10 or 11. It'd be the same type of thing. I don't think it would be that much different as far as what he's asking from his players that he's getting from his baseball league, big league club last year and this year. Tony in Texas brought up the Golden State Warriors about, oh boy, well, look at the Warriors, right? They break out and shoot all these threes and everything else, and then everybody kind of wants to be what they are, and they kind of change the sport. I don't think it's necessarily the same comparing those two because the Warriors did something we really hadn't seen. Outside of D'Antoni and Phoenix with that run and gun, shooting a million shots a game type offense and no defense, Golden State was a little bit more, how would I want to put it? Better constructed, maybe, of an offense.
A little more controlled, I would say.
More controlled of an offense. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. More of a controlled offense than what you saw in D'Antoni and Phoenix. And D'Antoni and Phoenix, they won a lot of games. Nash and Stoudemire and Sean Marion and those guys, they won games. They couldn't finish, right? With Steve Kerr, they knew the defensive element with Draymond Green and those guys and were able to finish and win games with that style of offense that they wanted to play. The Brewers aren't that. The Brewers haven't created a new way to play the game of baseball and everybody's going to model themselves after them. But what the Brewers do is they do everything so well that there are very few weaknesses that you can point at on this team to say, that's why they're going to lose. No, that's why they're going to lose. No, that's why they're going to lose. Right? You can't point to 3 or 4 things and go, that's the reason. You can point to power and slugging and go, that'll be why they don't win in the postseason. But their power and slugging numbers since the trade deadline are like the top of baseball right now. So even that argument is now up in flames unless they revert back to what they were in the beginning of the year, Charlie.
Which I find it hard to believe they're going to revert back to what they were at the beginning of the year. I think at the beginning of the year, and looking back on it, there's a lot of bad luck with this team that was just happening. It was just stuff where it felt like they were getting good contact and the ball was just not falling right for them, and it was affecting the way that they were viewing themselves. Christian Yelich was constantly changing up his batting stance because he just didn't feel comfortable at all. And now all of a sudden he just started feeling comfortable. And it doesn't really matter if he's doing a toe tap or not. He just looks more comfortable out there. And that's all it took was them to get out of this funk for them to start feeling that way. I have no worries that this team is going to revert back to what they were because they've shown us now for an extended period of time that this is who they are.
That's correct. This is exactly who they are. And this is what should give everybody hope that this team is a team that's going to have to be dealt with going forward. And no, they don't lead World Series betting odds or anything like that. But they just continue to play baseball, again, the right way. And game 2 will come up tonight. It's going to be Woodruff versus Jamison Taillon. And if you had any confidence in this team whatsoever, you would think if I'm going to Potawatomi tonight and if I'm going to be at the sports book, I'm putting money on the Brewers tonight to win this baseball game. If you're a Brewers fan, even if you saw them lose and you're going down there, I think most Brewer fans would be like, "Here's $5. I'm going to take the Crew tonight to win this game." Right? Don't you think most Brewer fans would do that automatically, just walking into the sports book, even if you weren't going there to bet, even if you were going to Potawatomi to have dinner at one of their fine dining restaurants, or you're going to Rock and Brew, their family style restaurant that has the hanging electric guitars. You know, it's based off of the group Kiss, the band, the rock band. That place has got great food too. Even if you're going there, maybe you're going to play craps, maybe you're going to play slots, blackjack, whatever. I'm gonna pop in the sports book, put a few bucks on the Crew for tonight before we go to dinner, before we go do our video poker or whatever. That's my game, video poker. Love video poker. But that, you know, now you're doing it. Now, in April and May, ain't nobody going, "Hey, Joe, before we go to the blackjack table, let's go throw a few on the Crew tonight." Joe, look at you like, are you nuts, man? Have you been watching that team? I'm putting money on them. Now, you're in a group of 4 or 5 people and somebody brings it up. Everybody's like, "Yep, I'm in. Yep, I'm in. I'm going to do it too. Let's all go do it." And then you go on your night at Potawatomi doing whatever, kind of watching it on your phone, watching it on the TVs around Potawatomi. When it cashes out, you all high five, go have a drink together and celebrate the Crew win. That's how you do it. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Let's go to Ram, North Side. You're next on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text Line. What's up, Ram?
Hey, what's going on, Sparky?
You tell me.
But you know what I'm I hear the excitement. I feel the same way. But I'm with you. When I was playing a little bit of baseball, the way the Brewers play right now, that's how I was taught, like back in the 70s. So I never was a fan of analytics. And, you know, I called the show for years. I hate analytics. I hate swinging for the fences, for the home run. I never understood it, you know, especially when you don't have heavy bats. But that ball, like you used to call place hitters when I was coming up, you know, hitting the gaps, you know, go for that. So
yeah,
that makes them so unpredictable. Like I never feel like if they in a close game that they out.
Agreed.
And then they got speed. They got guys who can steal bases. So I just said we got manager of the year again.
Yes, yes, you do.
We got manager of the year. Other than that, they're exciting to watch. They're like the Warriors. Literally, they are like the Warriors. You know, whether you like the Warriors or not, you never feel that if they down by 20 that the game is over.
The difference is they really don't have superstars. That's the difference. There is no Curry.
Well, they have a lot of good skilled players.
Yes, they have a lot of really good players, right? And they figure out ways to win the games. I'll go back to that Pistons team with Hamilton and Billups and Ben Wallace and all of that, to Tajon Prince. Those were all a lot of really good players that were winning 50 games year in and year out and figured out a way to win a title.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
All right, Ram, thanks.
I think they're gonna win it all, Sparky.
I think you might be right, Ram. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun, I'll tell you that much. Got to do post-game shows after the Bucks won the championship. That was amazing. I don't think we'll do post-game shows for Brewers games in the playoffs necessarily, but still, to be on the air the next day after they win the championship would be freaking amazing, Charlie.
It would be so cool, Sparky.
A World Series parade? You thought that Bucks World Series parade was big? I guarantee you the Brewers World Series parade will make that look small because you're going to have all these people from around the state coming down here to be a part of this, more so than you even had for the Bucks.
Would I be able to go out to that remote, Sparky? Would that be allowed?
Remote? What remote?
If they have a parade, I feel like we got to be out there in some way, somehow.
We weren't out there for the Bucks parade. I hope we're out there for the Brewers parade. I think that would be a lot of fun. Hey, the Meal of Misfortune, devised by Wednesday Adams, is available now at Wendy's, where you must surrender to your fate. It comes with rest in peace 10-piece nuggets, small cursed and crispy fries, and a small Ravens blood frosty. And, of course, 2 of 4 mysterious dips of dread to up the torment. In Wednesday's words, it's pure torture and tribute to the suffering that awaits us all from the dips of dread. And the best part is you never know what you'll get. Each uniquely insufferable in its own torturous way. Got to be Wendy's. Watch Wednesday, Season 2, only on Netflix. Available for limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's while supplies last. Coming up next, we will talk more about Rob Manfred's realignment idea. Jeff Passan of ESPN has thoughts. So, yes, he does. And he was on the Pat McAfee show talking about that. We'll play that for you and a couple other things that we missed on today's show. Straight ahead, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers lose today 6-4. Still time for it. If you want to hop on and talk about it, Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. And, oh, yeah, we got a sound-off voice message through the Odyssey app that we will play for you as well. Straight ahead.
And Yelich sends it high and deep to right. This one is way back there off the scoreboard. Christian Yelich with a tape measure shot down the right field line. And right away, the Brewers get one of them back. Number 26 for Yelich.
How about it, Brewers fans? Christian Yelich with a home run there. Brewers end up losing the game 6-4. To the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. And coming up tonight, Brewers-Cubs game 2 of the doubleheader at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll have the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook from 6 to 7. You can watch that on YouTube like you're watching us on YouTube right now. Check out the videos, shorts, like, subscribe, follow us, and share all of our content with your friends and family. That would be appreciated. Tommy Wirtz will be in here again, getting ready for Brewers. Brandon Woodruff on the mound versus Jamison Taillon for the Cubs in that one. Charlie, it said we have another YouTube chat message. before we went to the break. What's the latest there?
So if we head over there, we got Rainbow Trout on the YouTube comment section saying, I keep seeing Miz compared to Skeens. What are their comparative stats through the same amount of starts? So I was looking that up here. Jacob Mizorowski, through 8 games started in his MLB career, has a 4-1 record with a 3.89 ERA and 50 strikeouts. Paul Skeens, through the first 8 starts of his career, had a 2.14 ERA with 65 strikeouts and a 7-1 loss record, looks like.
Yeah, so, again, Skeens better, clearly, at this point.
Right now, at least, yeah.
But, having said that, I feel like the comp that I continuously hear is Mizorowski and DeGrom. That seems to be the guy that everybody wants to compare Mizorowski to. Not saying that he, isn't Skeens or if Skeens is better than DeGrom or whatever the case may be. But I think that's probably the better comp as far as the velocity that he brings and everything else. Skeens, I don't think, is throwing as hard as Mizorowski is at this point.
No, definitely not. Does that worry you at all that he's compared to DeGrom because of DeGrom's injury history?
I've said this before. He's going to get hurt. Like I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But the sooner he has Tommy John surgery, the sooner we can worry about having Tommy John surgery, and then we can move forward. Who was it? Chris Capuano had Tommy John twice, I think, as a member of the Brewers. Had multiple, and they were years separated, right? Because you have crazy parents that are like, I want little Johnny to have Tommy John at 12 so his arm is stronger for high school. Poof, to the moon. But there are people around this country, that's what they're aiming for, right? Because they think it'll make little Johnny throw the ball harder and he'll be better. Just let's get it out of the way earlier. I'm like, you people are nuts. But as far as Mizorowski goes, yeah. I mean, I would assume at some point he'll end up having the issue. Logan Henderson, with this injury that he has, when that news first came out, I was like, oh, dog, man, we're going to lose him for all of next year maybe. Doesn't sound like that's the case, thankfully. Does sound like he's going to be back this year, but at least it doesn't sound like there's going to be Tommy John surgery, so that's positive as well. Okay, I want to get this in here. We only got like 4 minutes. My goodness. I want to get this in. This is Jeff Passan talking on the Pat McAfee show about realignment in baseball because Rob Manfred said he wants to add a couple more expansion teams. Now, the early leaders in the clubhouse for this is probably Nashville. And I saw somebody else say Portland might be another team where it may happen. Obviously, everybody thinks Vegas is another one that could go. But then once that happens, he wants it to be realigned more geography-wise based on the divisions, the leagues, and all of that stuff. He doesn't know if that'll all get done by the time he gets through in 2029, but he wants it at least ball in motion. Here's Jeff Passan from ESPN talking to Pat McAfee.
The question is, what does Major League Baseball want? Does it want to realign into 8 divisions with 4 teams each? Or does it want to radically realign to 8 divisions with 4 teams? The radical sort of realignment that I'm thinking of is putting the Yankees and the Mets in the same division.
Wait,
it is
what?
putting the Dodgers and the Angels in the same division. It is putting the Cubs and the White Sox.
Geographically.
And the idea
These are real
of
things?
destroying the it's Rap, it's going to be within the realm of possibility. When you are talking about realignment, that makes sense. And Rob Manfred, I don't think it was an accident. He talked about geographical realignment. When you assign the word geography to realignment, what else would you think other than they're going to find those little metropolitan area pockets, and that northeast pocket right there with the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Philadelphia Phillies. The issue to me that is really at hand here. Are we going to have an American League and a National League, and is it going to look anything like it has historically?
No.
Like, baseball fans have been willing to accept a lot over these last few years, and I think most of the moves, frankly, have been great. I adore the pitch clock. I think it's fantastic. I think ABS, the challenge system with automated balls and strikes, is going to be a net positive. But, man, if you do anything to mess up what has been in place since the advent of the game and the lens through which fans view that and the rivalries that exist right now, I think there will be significant pushback on MLB if they entertain the idea that there cannot be a New York versus New York World Series. If they were to split up Cubs and Cardinals from the same division.
It's crazy.
When they realign, guys, they're going to have to be judicious, thoughtful, and understanding of these things that fans hold so dear.
Okay. So let's quickly talk about this. Jeff Passan. Oh, the fans aren't going to stand for it. You don't think the Yankees fans are going to go to Yankee games because they're in the same division as the Mets. You don't think Mets fans are going to go to the same games because they're in the same division. You don't think White Sox fans are, well, they don't go anyhow. But Cub fans, they're going to go regardless if they're in the
Apparently they don't go to games either right now.
That was half-empty stadium today. They're all going to go. Stop with this nonsense about, they're all not going to go. Of course they're going to go, right? Of course. Now, again, the Midwest Division, I've seen this in numerous places. The Athletic, CBS Sports, everybody taking their cracks at this. Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins. Everybody in agreement, those 4 teams are going to be in the same division going forward once this thing realigns, if this thing realigns by 2030. Do you like it?
No, I don't. I don't like having both Chicago teams in the same division. I think that's a little...
I love it.
I would put Detroit in there with that team.
I hate to break it to you. From a person that lives in Milwaukee, that doesn't care about Chicago, doesn't care about New York, or anywhere else that has multiple teams in their city, I don't give a crap if your 2 teams can't face each other in a World Series. In fact, I'd much prefer that they can't face each other in the World Series. Y'all want to have 2 teams in the same city? Battle it out to see who gets to the World Series from your city. You shouldn't get to have both teams in one city in the World Series. That ain't entertaining at all. No. Fine with it, do it to it.
I don't know. I don't think that's the reason I don't like it. I think I'm okay with what you're saying, battle it out for the city. But at the same time, I mean, you could have an even better division with Detroit in there instead of White Sox. It'd be a lot more fun. Match the NFL, too.
Here's Charlie Using, C. Sparky Fifer. I apologize. Was it Tom the Painter?
Tom the Painter.
Tom the Painter sent in a sound off recorded message. We will play it tomorrow, Tom. I apologize. We simply ran out of time. So we'll get to it tomorrow. It's involving the Packers. So we'll get to it tomorrow. Tommy Wirtz comes up 6 to 7 with the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Keep it tuned here to the Fan. And, of course, enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good one. Tomorrow, Drew Wagner, a Forbes Sports Brewers writer, will join us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good one. Toodles.